It would not be an understatement to say that the Harry Potter fandom has an irrevocable chokehold on the world. The series about a world of magic has seen its fair share of ups and downs, but even when it is down in the dumps, the fandom refuses to die out entirely, with a lineup of Harry Potter-related content still spewing out into the world. We can only wonder what's left for this franchise to dominate. For example, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child sets up a big return concerning its adaptation. Here's all you need to know: the Wizarding World and its undying roots. Regardless of her reputation these days, it's hard to deny that J.K. Rowling has made her impact quite severely on this world. Her book series and a young boy discovering a magical world has touched the hearts of millions worldwide. Enough so that a steady stream of Wizarding World-related content keeps coming out consistently. To this day, in fact, there are plans to create media content set in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Suffice it to say, the universe has its roots lodged in the deepest parts of global culture. 2016 especially was a big year for Harry Potter enthusiasts, or Potterheads, as they like to call themselves. Both Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them and Harry Potter and the Cursed Child made their debut to the general public that very year. The former was a sort of prequel to Harry Potter set in early America and is focused on the rise and fall of Grindelwald from the eyes of Newt Scamander. Cursed Child, on the other hand, is the sequel of sorts to Harry Potter, starring his youngest son Albus Severus and his group of friends, except it was not written by J.K. Rowling. The book, crafted as a screenplay, ended up going to Broadway due to its massive success. That is not to say that the sequel itself was well received. A lot of people had all sorts of problems with the production. One big controversy that still stands out was the production casting a black actress to play older Hermione. Is it coming back? The sequel in question raised a lot of eyebrows back when it was first produced. The general public made its peace with the controversies that plagued the Broadway show. It didn't help that fans of the series had for years been begging for any crumb of content to fall their way. So when J.K. Rowling officially deemed the Cursed Child canon, people lost their minds. The show was a hit for a good amount of time before the hype eventually went down. Fans, of course, were deeply devastated to learn that their favorite actors from the original cast would not be returning to play an older version of their original characters. But that's all well and good, and people found a way to form an attachment to the show from what it was. Many, of course, condemned the screenplay and the show for many reasons. Some said it wasn't true to the characters, while some called the plot ridiculous. But amidst the calm that the recent years have provided us with, could it be that the Cursed Child is getting adapted into its own movie? Well, according to certain sources, that is a very likely possibility. Fantastic Beasts, although with a reasonable strong start, could not keep fans of the universe interested. Its gradual decline in popularity could be accounted for by many things, but perhaps the lack of familiar characters in the movies made them a touch too different for fans to adequately engage with. Cursed Child, on the other hand, gives fans another chance to explore the same universe a bit farther in the future. Perhaps that is why, despite the many flaws pointed out by the viewers, fans are begrudgingly excited about seeing it hit theaters. Adaptation in the works? Currently, Warner Brothers is still in talks with whether the story is gonna get its very own movie adaptations, but for Potterheads all around the world, this is all but an invitation to hypothetically cast characters for the potential movie. For example, fans are still holding out hope that the actors who portrayed these characters on screen for the last time in 2011 would once more take up the mantle for this movie. But wishing for something this drastic to happen often leads to underwhelming consequences, and that's exactly what happened here. Who doesn't want Daniel Radcliffe and Rupert Grint to reunite and play the Golden Trio once more? After all, it's practically impossible to think about anyone else playing these characters. But even so, actors who played significant roles in the movies are somewhat reluctant to return to the silver screen, citing that a return right now is not on their agenda. Daniel Radcliffe's subtle refusal. Well, who can deny that Daniel Radcliffe did an incomparable job of playing the Chosen One in the original 8 films? And despite none of his other movies ever making as huge a mark on a global scale as the Harry Potter series, it would be wholly incorrect to call him an unsuccessful actor. When asked, however, if he would play Harry Potter ever again, Radcliffe had a complex answer to give. He doesn't think he'll ever say no to reprising his role as a wizard, but he isn't sold on returning for a movie adaptation of The Cursed Child. For him, the wait to see the original cast returning has just not been long enough. To elaborate, he cited the example of another major global phenomenon, Star Wars. He noted that the cast of Star Wars gave themselves around 30 to 40 years before they went back, and because the likes of Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, and Carrie Fisher waited this long to return to their beloved roles, the impact of their return was as massive as one could hope. Their references to lines spoken by a younger version of them were much more significant, and the payoff was inarguably greater. So it stands to reason that the same would end up being true for the Harry Potter franchise. If it does in fact play its cards right, the Harry Potter franchise could have a memorable comeback a good few years into the future. The Harry Potter reunion. Plus, one could argue that The Cursed Child isn't the correct project for the stars to return to. After all, the screenplay is centered too much around the original characters' kids rather than them. This would all be good and fine, but one could argue that the characters and the fans deserve a storyline where we could perhaps explore the characters more and see what they've truly been up to since the end of the series. For example, we know that Hermione ends up being the Ministry of Magic and Harry an Auror, so wouldn't a fresh story where we get to explore them as adults be more riveting and rewarding? Besides, for now, fans were most recently treated to a cast reunion anyway, and an an even deeper look at their favorite actors and their experiences playing these globally beloved characters. The actors mentioned how much they love playing the characters, but the wizarding universe was definitely a part of their past. The actors are currently either working on new projects that challenge their acting range or completely settled in their lives. Of course, as fans, it can be hard to hear that a project you wish would reunite your favorite characters may not come to pass. But the Harry Potter 10-year reunion can act as a gentle solve until the cast is inevitably and finally ready to return to the franchise. Why the cast not returning may be for the better. Despite scheduling conflicts and other technical issues, it would be very unreasonable to expect the original cast to drop everything and return to a franchise they've left behind years ago. Plus, as we mentioned, a longer delay might make the experience of watching them play these characters much more rewarding. So their absence from The Cursed Child may be very well a good thing. The Cursed Child has proven that it is a story people are willing to watch and enjoy through its massive success both in book sales and the Broadway show. It has already been proven that it does not need the original cast members to perform in it for the story to be successful. Maybe the new actors hired for the hypothetical movie will lend us a fresher look into the story, one that would not have been possible when everyone only focused on returning cast members. The story does not need to be adorned with nostalgia for it to be a worthwhile watch, and that is the new message that this adaptation may send if it employs cast members not included in the original Harry Potter franchise. And that's all for the video. What do you think about the cast members not returning to the potential Cursed Child adaptation? Let us know in the comments down below. Be sure to give it a like and share the video. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications by pressing the bell icon to get notified every time we post a new video. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching!